Welcome back, y'all. So today I'm going to be talking about a very cool but kind of pointless shotgun, the Connecticut Shotgun DP-12. Little backstory. So, good buddy of mine, he had gotten a Keltec KSG several years ago. Was bragging on it. Thought it was the coolest thing ever. And these had come out recently at that point. And it's like, what the hell? We're going to outdo him. So, picked this thing up at gun show, whatever. Got it in tan because his was tan. It was like, one of those things. Oh, mine's like a KSG, but for men, because I have 2 barrels. So, backstory. That complete there. Very unique thought process here. So you have a double barrel, 2 barrels, pump action shotgun. And the thought process, and it works, is you shoot it like a double barrel, 2 trigger pulls, 1 barrel, pump it, and you get 2 more. And being that it's a bullpup design, like a KSG, it's a very short shotgun. You have a 7-round tube on each side. So you have, if you're using like 2 3/4 inch, you have, 7 in each tube, plus 1 in the chambers. So you have 16 rounds in the gun, shells, and that's that you can shoot pretty quick with. There's been other videos, but you can pretty quickly dump 16 rounds of double hot buck or slugs, whichever you prefer, into in a very short order. Which makes for, at close range, a very devastating effect on whatever you're shooting at. However, there are some downsides to that, and I'm going to go over these. But first, I'm going to go, kind of over the gun. So it came with this vertical grip. Never even taken it off. It works pretty good, actually, for pumping the action. You could take it off and run the pump like a normal, like standard pump action, but it works pretty good. Now, moving back, you got an ambi pump release that you just push down on, kind of like a almost like a bad lever on an AR. You just push down on it and it releases the pump. And unlike, kind of like the little pump releases on most pump actions by the trigger. It has a very AR-like ambi safety. It's on both sides. And the trigger, clear, yep, okay. The trigger, given that it's a bullpup, it's actually not bad. It's kind of, hang on, I'll do it left-handed. So it's got some, not much take up there. It's fairly heavy, but for a shotgun, it's not bad. And then, oh yeah, I keep forgetting double barrel. So, all right, manual of arms. Okay, so first trigger, reset, second trigger, pump action. Okay, so cool story. However, there are some downsides. Most notably, because it's a double barrel, it is very thick all the way up and down the gun, which makes for shouldering the gun and getting a decent side picture on something that would typically be mounted on a Picatinny rail pretty kind of hard to do, which is why I don't really have anything on this. It just makes the gun kind of unwieldy, even though it's short and short because it's a bullpup. It's a very dense gun. The stock just kind of makes it almost. It's just very hard to get a good sight picture and cheek weld with something on there for sighting. Not impossible, but it's just whatever. On top of, no one really uses a KSG or something like this in serious use for like a duty shotgun. Shotguns are kind of going the way of the dodo bird for most people anyway, and this kind of plays to that. In this instance, I tend to just use the rail as kind of a K-Man EOTech / bead sight on this thing, and it works okay. You can kind of just line it up and hit. I've hit targets with slugs after 25 meters. Not short, not long range at all, but I wouldn't consider carrying this out anyway, just because of how unwieldy it is. It is heavy when it's loaded because if you're talking about 16, shotgun shells, plus how it's not a light shotgun by any means anyway. The other downside to it is just like the KSG and any bullpup shotgun is loading. You almost have to take it like this and like a shoulder arms type thing and load them like this. There's no speed loading this gun at all. There's very, you just kind of have to load them in and load them in and load them in, and eventually you get it loaded. However, depending on your philosophy of use here, if you weren't planning on doing a lot of reloading, and this was kind of like this is kind of where I have put this gun to, is hey, you need to barricade yourself in behind a door in a bedroom, and if someone comes through the door, you can put a lot of heat downrange really fast in a close distance that you don't need to worry about reloading and stuff. It's a good option in that case, because let's face it, in a household environment for like double-aught buck, for example, if you can put 16 rounds of double-aught buck, well, typically there's like nine pellets in a double-aught buck. You do the math, 16 times 9 in a short order, you can do some damage. But as far as something that you would take out and about and carry, this is not the shotgun. You get the Benelli. And now this is cheaper, but I would still spend the extra money to get a Benelli or the Beretta 1301, and go with that. More traditional loading, because the loading gate is forward of the pistol grip. You're not reaching under your armpit to load it and all this and that. Yeah, so very cool shotgun. Can do a lot of damage really fast, but not something you're going to carry on, in my opinion. So short, quick, to the point. It's cool. It's one of those crowd pleaser guns that, like the Desert Eagle or the Barrett, but it's not something that anybody seriously uses. So take it for what it's worth. It's a tool. You're the weapon. Until next time, I'll be back.